return all your attention to what's real. What's real is what's permanent. Whatever is not permanent you are somehow making happen inside of you. The permanent was created by someone that we cannot comprehend. But the temporary within each one of us was created by someone we know very well. We don't know how they work. We don't know why they create what they create. But we know about them. We interact with them constantly. So return all your awareness to the real. So then you can decide what you really want to create in the temporary. The permanent, the real, is always true. It's always true. That's why we continue to exist. If the permanent was ever not true, we would cease to exist. But the temporary exists only in you. No one else has the temporary the same way that you do. Not 2 moments do you have the temporary in the same way. The temporary is in a constant flux. And we want to learn how to direct the temporary so that it flows with our nature. So return to the real. And realize the nature of the temporary. To realize the nature of the temporary is to simply observe what's already there. Everything that's already there is somehow or another biological. It's written within us. It's experienced within us. And that experience is constantly changing. It's being produced by the organism. So return to the place where you unite with the truth. The truth that you are simple and you produce many different complex experiences within yourself. Because from this truth, you can learn to experience life in a way that is more efficient for who you are. Which means that you will have more energy to be yourself. Which means that you will have more intelligence to understand yourself. You'll be more available to your true self if you learn how to produce what is healthy for you to consume. There is a nature to our spirit that allows it to gain power and it allows it to lose power. And to align with our nature is to learn the things that give us power and to learn what things to avoid because they make us lose power. And things include thoughts, feelings, speech, or behavior. All these things can give the spirit more power or can take away its power. So it's within the spirit's interest to get to know. And getting to know is simple because it's already there. It simply requires observance. To observe what is taking place. And to start untangling all the different assumptions that we use to justify what's going on. So that we can really see what's going on. So that we can make a difference while it still matters. In all our relationships, we are creating within other people from ourselves. And so, to align with our nature is to allow others to get to know their own nature. Because we all share the same nature. We're fundamentally the same being. We have different areas where we have more or less of the same function. So it's only a matter of different quantities and different areas of focus, but it's the same being. It's the same one. It's the same nature. Trying to understand itself. While it's also trying to survive in an environment that's not always friendly enough. So allow yourself to unite with the silence from where you come forth, from where you create. Every moment you create anew. Everything you're carrying, regardless of how old, how many years or how many decades, you're recreating in this moment, otherwise it wouldn't affect you. So somehow, within your biology, you're keeping track of a certain event, and that's what ties you to it. Something happened that made such an impact on the spirit that it couldn't forget it. And there are many, many somethings. Because the world is not designed to avoid these types of events. And so every moment, everything that we're carrying, we're creating, unless we realize that we no longer want to create it. Because something inside of us is giving that instruction to create it. We believe there's some form of benefit, there's some form of protection. By remembering that suffering, maybe we'll be able to avoid it in the future. But the opposite is true. Because what we're experiencing in perception, we're creating as a reality. We are the result of that. I'm the result of all my experiences that I experienced from when I was born until this moment. This result is creating the content. It's all of them together. But the suffering that I had to go through in order to create them that I don't have to carry. Because if I carry it, I'm recreating it. So you come back to the silence, and from the silence you decide, what do you want to recreate? What do you want to live? What do you want to experience? And the deeper the silence, the more options are available. Because silence simply means forgetting the assumptions that cause us to interpret life in a specific way. And then we're locked in that way. And then we protect it, and we rationalize it, and we stick to it. And we lose sight of reality. So unite with reality in the silence that reality created. Before we give it any interpretation. Just reality alone. And from that place, from the truth, you come forward with an interpretation that's meaningful to you. An interpretation that is kind to humanity. An interpretation that doesn't offend your nature. And if the interpretation is not fitting right, then we can simply create another interpretation. Because the goal is to allow the interpretation to be suitable to the one who's creating it. So return to the silence, unite with your source, and just dwell in that potential.